we deal with economics, one of the most important things we talk about is a market. A market is any place where you have a buyer and a seller. And depending on the kind of market we're dealing with, the roles that the players in the markets adopt will be different. For example, one of the most basic models that we have in economics is something called the circular flow model. In this model, what we show is how the economy actually functions. We have two markets, one called the product market and the other called the resource market. And in these two markets are players who interact with each other. And depending on which market we're in, the actors will assume different roles. So whenever we deal with a market, we have actors. We have one actor called the buyer or the demander, and the other actor called the seller or the supplier. The actors themselves are one of two groups of people typically. Either a household, which is just most normal people that are involved with a household, or a firm, a business. So for example, in the product market, we have households on one side of the circular flow model and firms on the other side of the circular flow model. The household, in this case, are the people who go to the product market to buy things. And the firm is the actor who sells things or is the supplier to the product market. So we see that as the circle goes around the upper half of the model, the seller is the firm and the buyer is the household. The other part of the market, the other part of the model is the resource market. In the resource market, we have the roles reversed. And we'll talk more about this when we get into the labor market, but the households become the sellers. You sell yourself, in essence, in the product market. The firm needs you to make the things that they produce, and so they become the buyers in this market. That's the lower half of the model. We have the sellers as the households selling into the resource market, and the firms acting as the buyer. Now we can expand the scope of this model. One of the things that makes the model difficult to work with is that is something that we refer to as the coincidence of wants. If you want something that the firm has, you have to have something that the firm wants in exchange. Or we could just put money into the model, and the money makes the process work much more smoothly. For example, let's say you wanted to get a job, you needed to eat, and so you go and hire yourself out to McDonald's. And they want to pay you in Big Macs. And that's great for a little while, but after you eat too many Big Macs, you say, I'd like a fry or an apple pie or a soft drink or something like that to go with the Big Mac, and so you have to readjust the way the wages are worked out. Instead, if they just pay you in money, then you can buy whatever you want. We also can put the government in the model, and we'll do that a little bit later in the term. But for now, that gives us a basic understanding of markets and how they're set up in the circular flow. Markets are really important because even when they are not coordinated, markets still get resources and still get goods to the people who value them the most, helping us to deal very well with the economic problem.